Hello, everyone. Welcome to our fireside chat. In today's chat, we're going to talk about why small carriers and owner-operators are finally getting the respect they deserve. In U.S. truckload market, over 90% of the capacity is provided by these small carriers, especially in times where freight volume goes from boom to bust or bust to boom. These small carriers play an important role in providing that flexible capacity. In today's session, we'll hear from Ben Snyder from Schneider on how these small carriers play an important role and what Schneider is doing to really help this community. Ben, welcome to our fireside chat.
Hey Prasad, great to see you. I'm thrilled to be here. Great topic, great event.
Thanks. So if you could take a couple of minutes and introduce yourself and Schneider to our audience.
Sure. Let me start with Schneider. I think Schneider, 85-year plus company, really known brand in the trucking transportation industry. And I think when people think of Schneider, they think of Omaha orange, trailers, trucks, containers, our professional driver force. And really within Schneider, it's made up of three business segments. You've got our traditional truckload group, intermodal, and logistics. And logistics is made up of, you have brokerage, you have power only, supply chain, engineering, freight under management, warehouse, and of course our port dray operation. I'm really here today representing brokerage. So a little bit about myself. Been with the company over 20 years, and my current role is Vice President of Operations for brokerage and carrier sales. So what that means is everything for Schneider's third-party carrier strategy. And then of course our brokerage workforce, carrier sales workforce. So hopefully I can add some value to this conversation as really everything I'm doing in my career and my role is working to better service the small carriers and owner-operators that Schneider works with.
Thanks, Ben. That's a very good position to speak on today's topic. So I'll jump right into our discussion. So how does Schneider utilize these small carriers or owner-operators, the small fleets, in their brokerage network and for their customers?
Sure. Schneider, we have almost 40,000 active carriers we work with. And so 40,000 could sound like a large number of carriers, and it is. But when you really think about it, 90% of those carriers are less than 10 trucks. And it really mirrors the macro transportation industry. So everything we're kind of set up to do when it working with the small carriers and the one truck owner operator fleets is, we're working every day to earn their business. So we're providing them high quality freight that maximizes their time. And every day we're earning their business. So we have our carrier sales team, our professional carrier sales team that's aligned to these carriers. And really they're trying to understand the carrier needs and wants, whether it's long haul over the road, regional, short haul, what are their needs? And really what's the need for that carrier or that driver all the way down to time at home and those type of needs of the driver. But every day, I guess I would say, we're utilizing this capacity to then service our customers in brokerage. So we rely heavily on the small carrier, one truck owner operator fleets to service our brokerage customers.
That's very good. And to follow up on that question, Ben, what are certain things that Schneider and your division in particular is doing to really improve the efficiency and the business of these small fleets and owner-operators?
First, I want to start again where we started is, first Schneider's a carrier first. And again, we have over 85 years of history of being a carrier. So I think we're really well positioned to understand how critical the time is, the value of time for the driver. So, what we've spent a lot of time on, not only for our company drivers, but our third-party carriers, on how do you maximize drive time, how do you optimize the driver experience, reduce waste, reduced wait times. So that could be things like optimizing appointments, getting great appointments, making sure that we have real loads for the carriers. We don't do will call or can get freight. I mean, this is real freight from Schneider, and it's high quality freight. I call it blue chip freight. I mean, you're getting freight from the best shippers in the industry that we've developed relationships over time. So high quality freight that maximizes driver time. And when you think about, again, we all have an accountability to maximize the driver time and the driver, how much time they're driving the truck. And Prasad, one of the areas I think we do a really good job at Schneider is, I mentioned we have the 40,000 carriers. Well, we also have 36,000 orange trailers, Omaha orange. I mean, and now Omaha orange, because this is the furthest you could see a color would be Omaha orange. It's designed for safety. So these are safe, well-maintained trailers, and we have a large power-only group. So these carriers with our orange trailers, we have a program in our power-only program that's 100% drop and hook freight. So that reduces the live load, live unload. I don't think you could get any better in optimizing a driver time than our power-only program. And again, with that program, you're also using, again, Schneider freight and Schneider trailers. And so we can configure that in contract freight, regional configurations, your typical over the road. But, I think that's one of the programs we have under Schneider Logistics that, I see really as a value to the small carrier owner operator. And that program continues to be very popular. And I think, again, it's the value of that drop and hook freight that we offer. I'll just add a few things. Of course, we have a fuel program. We have fuel discounts. We offer our carriers, we sell our used trucks, our used trailers. We have quick pay. So we have some of those traditional offerings that maybe a broker has. But again, offering the 36,000 trailers, used trucks for sale, used trailers for sale, that heritage as a carrier, I think, is really valuable to the carriers we work with.
That's really interesting. It's not just one or two things that you offer to help these guys, right? So, which brings me to the biggest buzzword of 2020 and 2021 is the digital platform, right? Everybody is talking about digital platforms, whether it's digital freight matching, visibility, or like you said, sending the documents back, all of this. How is Schneider utilizing these digital platforms? We realize for our audience, Schneider is a customer that uses Trucker Tools digital freight matching and visibility platforms, right? Beyond that, what are some values that you see that these small carriers can benefit from these platforms?
Sure. First I say Schneider's a digital powerhouse. We have, I just think of Schneider, and digital has become sexy, and so Schneider's been sexy for a while now. I mean, we are a digital powerhouse. So we have, first we have our Freight Power. And so for Freight Power, this is where shippers are coming online and they're booking truckload, they're booking LTL, they're booking orders with us digitally. We of course have Freight Power for carriers, where carriers are working in that ecosystem also. And also, really the strategy, Prasad, that you and I have been working on for a while now is meet the carrier where the carrier's at. Make it easier for the carrier. So, a part of this conference or this discussion we're having, is really a theme for me of how can you make it easier for the small carrier and the owner-operator to secure this blue chip freight from Schneider. And one of the ways is to meet with the carrier where they're at. So digital freight matching or digital, with Trucker Tools and your app, Prasad, you've done a great job of aggregating great brokers, some of our main competitors. Together, you've aggregated this volume and put it in the app for the carrier to not only pick Schneider freight, but pick other broker freight in case we don't have a load that fits their needs. And you can do the digital buy. And the digital buy or the book it now, it's a real load with the rate there, and you can click it right on there, the book it now, and you get the digital buy, and the tender goes right to the small carrier or any carrier, frankly, or the driver. And so that's just being easy to do business with and speed. So again, what we're trying to do there is time. Time is money, and I don't have the exact stats, but I know carriers and drivers are spending a lot of time searching for freight. So the idea here is give great quality freight, reduce the searching, and with trucker tools, commingle it with other freight so you have more selection as a carrier and you have more time to drive.
It's interesting you mentioned about the time is money, right? These platforms have one thing for this audience, primarily to help them find the best. We talk about putting the right load in front of the right truck, right? That truly happens with these digital platforms and help them optimize their trucks, right? Ben, as we come to the wrap up our session, first of all, there isn't enough time to discuss these topics at length in such short time, right? What are certain things that you want our audience, primarily the small carriers and owner operators, to go home with?
Well, I mean, I'll give an advertisement to, how to best reach us is through Schneider.com. So, we'd love to work more with the audience. So the best way to get active with Schneider is through Schneider.com. And then the best way, and we both have it on our shirts, Prasad, you can see a Trucker Tools, you can see a Schneider. Whether you're finding us through Trucker Tools, you're finding us through Schneider, finding these digital loads, finding loads with us. But I love to continue the conversation with more of the carriers, and they can find us again through the Schneider.com. And like you said, we could go on this conversation a lot longer. So I look forward to more engagement with the carriers after.
Thank you very much, Ben, for sharing your thoughts on how this segment, the small carrier owner operator segment, has been playing an important role in our industry, but what Schneider is doing to help them, and more importantly, what digital platforms are doing to help them, right? And like you said, we could barely scratch the surface of this topic in such a short period. But, for those who are listening, if you're a small carrier, don't hesitate to reach out to Schneider or Trucker Tools to learn more about how you could benefit from a digital platform to start with. But more importantly, what are certain things that large brokers like Schneider, they're doing to help you in this ride. In my viewpoint, I think small carriers and owner operators have always played a very important role in our industry, more so in the last 12 months when we saw the pandemic swing us both sides in such a short period, going from boom to bust to boom in a couple of months. We wouldn't have recovered from all of that without this small carrier segment. They truly are the heroes of the road. They play a very important role in our supply chain today. Thanks, Ben. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you, FreightWaves, for this opportunity.